Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backcast. Ryan, I'm Upper Talk with Brady and Kenny about Batman the Animated Series. And this week's episode is, I actually did update it correctly this week. It's Off Balance. How you doing today, sir?
So are we going to address the Gestapo in the room
What do you mean the German guy sounded, the not German guy sounded German?
dressed like a certain German military officer who is not even a Batman villain? I'm doing fine. I don't know what to think of the animators and their choice of style.
Yeah, so I'm fairly, if I had seen this episode, it might have been once. So like, I don't think like I only remember bits and pieces of it, so like I might have I think I only saw this the once. But as I said, this is episode is Off Balance. It is the 50th episode produced and the 44th episode to air, which made it air November 23rd, 1992. And so the second episode written by Len Wein, who was the as who wrote what it was like Moon of the Wolf of the Moon or whatever I think it was, the one of the Manimal episodes,
Mhm.
and directed by Kevin Altieri. So I think this is like the he's done a few of them now. I think they have like three or four episodes now. I think. But yeah, but I think Wolf of the Moon was one of the good Manimal episodes. I think, right? I think I remember. I think we enjoyed that episode, the last one that he wrote.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
think.
I
I
enjoyed Moon
think.
of the Wolf
Yeah,
like
yeah,
much better
yeah,
than Tiger Tiger.
yeah. I think it was the good one of the good Manimal episodes. It definitely wasn't the Highland of Dr. Moreau of the episodes.
Yeah. So you know a little bit about uh the character of Count Vertigo, because you said
Oh,
that you've watched the Arrow show.
yeah, but I don't. If I remember from the show, at least like the first iteration of Count Vertigo wasn't actually like you know this character. I think it was more like because he was just more like a drug dealer who is called his drug Vertigo instead
Hmm.
of being like a supervillain with the eyepiece that caused the friggin' off balance stuff and whatnot. So
Yeah.
so he technically was on the show, but I think. I don't know. Like I remember, I watched. It's been a while since I've watched that show, but I think they might have brought that guy back for like I made it better and like more like a list or something, or brought or had another one maybe like later on. But
They
I
had
don't
a
remember.
continuation, like a new character became the new Count Vertigo.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the show too, or
I watched the episodes, I would say somewhat consistently till season four. Because once you've killed the season three villain, who we won't name until the end of this episode for spoiler reasons, uh, it's kind of like, well, what else do you do? But that's the funny thing with Count Vertigo. Not a Batman villain. In fact, more of a Green Arrow villain, and yet Green Arrow doesn't make an appearance in the DCAU until Justice League Unlimited. So probably close to like 10 years after this episode's like air date. Like,
yeah. And I'm not sure if 11-year-old me would have known who Green Arrow was at the time, because yeah, I think I've gone on record that when I was watching this, I wasn't reading any Batman comics or wasn't a comic guy until well later in life. So I might have known that like as a whole that Justice League was the thing, maybe. Or definitely like, or even the same thing for the Avengers, or I might have known there was a team, but not knowing like what the team was called or anything, or let alone who who the people were in it. So I'd probably gonna go say I probably wouldn't have known who Green Arrow was at the time. I don't think
yeah,
so.
he
I
kind of
wouldn't.
blended into the background of the Justice
Yeah.
League for me.
Or right there, I think or like I said, or yeah, like because obviously, right, like for DC, if you like not into comics as a kid, it's like Batman and Superman sort of thing. So I definitely, yeah, so I definitely would have known that, Count Vertigo was a Green Arrow villain at the time.
So this
If I
episode,
if I sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, the episode starts out with
Yeah.
Batman, in fact, not in New York, but on Gotham's Statue of Freedom, which is their version of the Statue of Liberty, almost right down to the iconic pose and you know,
And the
vis
crown, yeah.
yeah. And he's meeting an underworld informant, Twitch. Do you know who Twitch is modeled after?
No, it just made me think of like the Spawn Twitch, but more the name. But now that I'm thinking about it, I did look familiar, but I didn't catch like who I thought he looked like now.
Tim Burton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I get a kick out of that. Yeah, so he's there supposedly to meet a contact of his named Nico, but Nico is in fact not there. Instead, Batman has arrived. And he's like,
It's the
"What the heck do you
bats.
want with me?" And so Batman wants
Information.
information on the Society of Shadows and what they're doing in Gotham. So the Society of Shadows is more or less based on an organization that's kind
Like
of a
the League of Sh
recurring.
the League of Shadows.
Well, that's the thing, is like the League of Shadows is kind of based on another organization, which is the League of Assassins. But obviously,
Oh yeah, that's
you
right. Yeah.
can't say the word assassin in a kid's cartoon, at least not without,
Whatever do you mean?
yeah, without certain implications. So they decided to make it kind of this clandestine kind of amalgamation of Spectre from James Bond and the Cobra organization from GI Joe. So it's
Yeah,
got kind
it's
of a
it.
globe-trotting feel to it.
Yeah, it's funny because when you mentioned like Kroger from GI Joe, because when when the one guy when he was talking to Twitch and he's like gasps because he sees them behind him, and first, yeah, you must be pretty good to be able to sneak up on Batman. And then two, like Batman's like, "Hey, what are you doing here, or whatever?" And like the guy sounded like fucking Cobra Commander because he
Yeah,
was rolling his S's. And he's like, "Dude, doing the snake thing." Then I was like, it would be fucking hilarious if the guy who voiced Cobra Commander was just like random, had like henchman number one that got this speaking, that got this speak, well, like the one line speaking role.
I'm kind of
And then
curious
I looked
now.
up. Then I know it wasn't. I looked up after and
Ah,
it
dang it.
wasn't. I was like, it would be like that would be a fucking great pull for me that it actually was him, but
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was just somebody else.
Yes, we are servants of the Society of Shadows. And yeah, all Twitch says to Batman is that they're after some prototype drill, and the guy in charge is this dude named Vertigo. And before he can say anything more, he realizes that someone's behind Batman, because yeah, these black clad agents, they kind of look like the Hydra agents from Captain America: First Avenger. Like they're wearing goggles and like clad in like kind of black leather gear, and they've got like claws that they're using to climb up the side of the statue's arm. And they managed to, keep Batman on his toes as they're trying to, kind of dispose of Twitch. But it's funny because the guy says like, "You betrayed the society. You shall now be punished." And you'd think that would mean like, death, which I think he was intending to do. But when he throws him off the thing and he lands in the lake below, you can see he's alive. And yet
Yeah,
the
but
guy's like,
if this is real life, that fall would have killed you. This like hitting water like at that height will kill
"Oh, for
you in
sure."
real life.
But the fact that he's alive and the guy looks down, he's like, "Such is the fate of all the who to betray the society." It's like you're gonna throw him into a deeper pool. Like, what are you gonna do?
And then I like the reaction that like then Batman gets pissed that his narc friend got thrown overboard. So he's like, "Oh, and now you're mine," or whatever he said. And then like they like the fact that they look scared and freaking shut off their own little back grapple to hook onto the crown and crawl that to like crawl away on.
Why didn't they just use the back grapple to get up in the first place?
I don't know. Yeah, because because unlike what I pointed out before, I guess there's probably similar technology to the back grapple, and it probably makes noise, and they're actually
Oh, true.
doing the ninja skills correctly to to not draw attention to themselves when they're trying to do the sneak mission. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, Master Yoru from his days in Japan would be smacking those toys out of his
yeah.
check your privilege, Wayne son.
Just because you saved a few bucks to have the motor like be a little bit louder, man, that's you're gonna give yourself away every time.
What's the point in having R&D if you don't get to steal it at a whim and use it?
Yeah, if it's not better tech, it's like because that's just like that seems just like like normal commercial stuff, which sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, Batman has a brief fight with the two agents, and he's about to ask them like, more information about what they're doing. And I forget what they say. I think they said something like "Long live the society," and then release this like green gas inside their
Yeah.
masks.
And
And when they,
use and like any normal person would think that they did they gas themselves and committed suicide, but I think like later on like Batman says that was it to Alfred or to Commissioner Gordon that
to
he's like
Alfred,
they like wiped their memory. I'm like that's not how gas works.
well,
I
yeah, that's
don't
the
think so.
thing. Like, arguably, that's kind of worse, man. Like,
Yeah.
because
So yeah,
because
so like yeah, so I guess to harken back to you can't call it the League of Assassins. So I guess they can't because I guess you can't have two characters like commit suicide like together like on camera.
yeah, they do it very very interestingly. Because yeah, like I think they hinted they were either lost their memories or they're going like catatonic, but like their eyes are bulged out. Like the only thing creepier would be if they got Joker gas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Batman goes to I love how Batman decides to sneak up on Gordon in the firing range when he's firing shots off. He's like over here. He's like, like bang bang. Oh, I just killed Batman.
Yeah. Well, at least he could tell you. At least he waited till he was like reloading, so he didn't have that. So he didn't actually
That's a good point.
start a little man to actually fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's either gonna do like a heart attack. Like how many I hate getting startled by like random stuff, man. Like you imagine like what Gordon's cardiogram must look like?
But like one of these days, yeah, I'm gonna have to. He's like, it's actually going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And he pop into like a nitro pill.
So he's bringing up to speed to Gordon what's been going on with the shadows. He's like, yeah, these two agents took themselves out before I had a chance to question them. And he's like, yeah, I haven't been able to learn much about them. Batman's like, oh, well, that's okay because I know exactly where they're going. They're going to steal the Wayne Tech prototype drill that's being brought in by train. And Gordon's like, well, how'd you know? I just assigned that to Bullock. And before he can
like,
even ask more
like
information, he's gone.
yeah, a couple hours, and as he's like, it turns to like they like do put in like a new fucking target up or something like that, and he's like, one of these days I'm gonna nail his feet to the ground. So like so with that, because he just said he like just assigned that thing like a couple hours ago.
Mhm.
So do you think Batman's bugged Commissioner Gordon's office, his computer, or has it inside Guy at Gotham, or combination slash all three?
I
What do you think?
think you're close, except who's the cop in charge of this assignment? Bullock. I bet he's got Bullock's office bugged.
That'd be that. That'd be the way. That'd be the worst office. Like, does Bullock have an office?
Well, he's probably got like, like a diner
He
that he
probably, yeah, probably
frequents
has a
and
desk, but he's probably like bullpen style. But I don't think he has an office. I'd be surprised if Bullock had an office. And I still think that would be like the worst. That'd be like the worst office to have because it's probably
mostly
was
picking
most of
up
the time.
farts and burps.
Yeah, and him like just fucking stuff in his face like most of the time. He's like,
Yeah.
like so yeah, so that's arguably like the worst office that I had if you had one. So
Who are the goofball cops on Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
yeah,
They're
yeah, Hitchcock and Scully, yeah,
Hitchcock and Scully. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
flat top and the freak.
yeah. It'd be like Bullock's office.
Yeah.
I got my own secret bathroom.
Because is it this? Is it the bullet for Bullock episode like later on where you actually go to his apartment and
Hmm.
it has like a bunch of fire. He like almost shoots somebody, shoots in his apartment. And it's just fucking cockroaches or some shit.
If there's gonna be a crazy gun happy cop on that force, it's absolutely Bullock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you watch all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine or?
I did. Well,
Yeah,
actually, sorry, up until the quote cancellation.
yeah. Okay, yeah, so you saw the episode where where they had like the young version of Hitchcock and Scully, and one of them was
One of them was
Richard,
Preacher.
which is yeah, right, yeah,
I'm like, I know that Aquaman.
yeah, and Jay has like the entire episode like, what happened?
Yeah. It all started with the chicken wing. I couldn't
Yeah, like
start.
the free chicken wings, yeah.
Oh, dude, that
Oh yeah,
that would be my undoing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I remember what I used to look like in college.
yeah.
This counts as protein, right? Chicken is meat. So yeah, we cut then to the rail station where Lucius Fox is overseeing the security picking up the prototype drill, and yeah, it's basically explaining this thing is. I think it's supposed to be used for like demolition or something, like for kind of like breaking up concrete. Is that kind of what the implication was?
Oh yeah, just for for that and or for drilling or just anything that need like fast holes for, I guess.
Hmm.
And that's not porn related, I guess.
Once again, right over my. But yeah, so I don't. Is it usual for Lucius Fox, like a CEO, to be witnessing like the transportation of prototypes? I don't know. Like seems like
This whole setup's felt weird, yeah, because like I get like there being like Wayne Tech security there, but like why were the fucking cops there then too?
yeah,
Yeah, so like
especially Bullock of all people, because like he would be like, this feels like a waste of my time,
yeah,
and yet
because
he seems
he's a detective. Yes, no,
yeah. There's no
he's a
mystery
detective.
to solve. It's just
Yeah,
like you're protecting somebody or something.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Security detail doesn't seem like detective work,
yeah.
but I'm not a cop, so what the fuck do I know? I guess.
But yeah, Bullock is like, don't worry, nobody's gonna get this thing. As long as Harvey Bullock cut to immediately being hit by this wave of disorienting vertigo radiation, I guess we call it. And what did you think of the animation on the vertigo effect?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, because yeah, that would be the thing to try that you have to do to get to try and put forth that it's making them dizzy and like off kilter and whatnot and messing with the
Hmm.
balance. So like I think it did a pretty good job for visualizing that. I think.
Yeah, it kind of
You,
gives this like spirally escalator kind of feel, like the boardwalk that they're on is kind of getting like like those things you see at the airport, those like
we're
walking sidewalks.
we're not having some fun
Yeah.
on over on top of the boardwalk or the
And one production note here I have from Bruce Timm. The distortion vertigo effects weren't
is
disorienting
this from
enough.
Bruce or Tim? Sorry, bad
It's from Tim Bruce.
joke.
Tim Bruce, the distortion vertical effects weren't disorienting enough, so we did retakes. While we were waiting for them, we did effects and video with a computer that were really wobbly and quite nauseating. It worked great, but we did that just to get the show on the air. When we got the retakes back, the film editors cut them into the episode, but dropped the video distortion effects on the whole sequence, and that was what ran. We told them to put the effects back in, which is the version that shows in the final product. So I think that's why it has that kind of visual distortion kind of feel to it. Because, yeah, like I don't know if you've had vertigo. I've had it in my experience. It's not fun. In fact, it really sucks. Um,
I would imagine so, yeah.
yeah, like just yeah, you don't realize like how much you're incapable of doing when like you have no like idea how to stand or walk straight. But because obviously like I would be experiencing that in a first person kind of perspective, and we're seeing this in third person characters in the show, they had to kind of find a way to kind of convey that to the audience, which I think they did very, very well.
Yeah,
Now, Vertigo himself, that was an interesting choice because
definitely was a
yeah,
choice, yes.
voiced by, did you recognize the voice?
No, I didn't look. I didn't really look it up now.
It's Basil Exposition from Austin Powers, Michael York. Yeah. That's like the one thing I know him from, that and he played
Ba-
Tybalt in
Basil.
yeah.
So what else was he? Was he in?
He played Tybalt in Zeffirelli's like 1960s or 70s Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
I just remember that because we had to watch it in high school. And we also used to quote the song, the quote the line, "Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I do bite my thumb, sir."
I thought it was. I thought it was Thumb That Knows at the or something. But I guess. What the? But I have. Yeah, I don't think I've read or watched any Romeo and Juliet's. So the
I stopped watching after the Haley Steinfeld version. I'm like, okay,
the
you've peaked.
uh, do you
But
know?
yeah,
Do you know about that version?
yeah, it's it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. It's just like you're just going for straight commercial at this point. Like, but one thing I wanted to say about Vertigo. Um, so in the comics, Vertigo has kind of a colorful costume. Like he's kind of green, sometimes a little bit of black, and he has a cape like he does in this. But here, he looks like an SS officer, to put it quite bluntly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't he have like a top hat too and stuff? I want to say.
He might. I know he's got like a
Uh,
monocle, well, the
yeah.
monocle kind of blends in with the eyepiece. But yeah, this dude looks like he walked straight off a Star Destroyer. And that's trying to keep this relatively civil. Because, well, hey, believe it or not, I have boundaries with my sense of humor. I'm not Reed. But
Okay, yeah, yeah, it doesn't look like he has a top hat, so it must be thinking of somebody else with
yeah,
that as a top hat.
but yeah, we got Vertigo. Like, he's using his eyepiece to like make them fall over, and he's like uh like what do you want? He's like, what I want is you to stop asking stupid questions. And
And kill those bugs. No, wait, that's Starship Troopers. Never mind. Yeah, different Nazi character.
yeah. Are you suggesting that the Americans were the Nazis?
Dookie Howser was definitely a Nazi in that movie.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
see it? Did you see his code at the end of the movie?
Dude, he was straight up Aryan.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. But I do love that movie though.
Yeah.
I think it played at one point in the last year at Imagine that theater in Carlton, so it was fucking 100% there.
Yeah. I gotta watch that movie again sometime. If nothing, just for the for the
It's good.
laughs.
It's good. It's a definitely enjoyable movie. I do like that movie.
Yeah, so Vertigo and his men are trying to take the drill, and that's when Batman appears. And he manages to get knocked on his back as well by the vertigo effect. So one thing that I was wondering at first, I mean, later on, like we see him walking around normally, but like for a while, it seemed like did this vertigo eyepiece have an off button? Like it seemed like it just kept on going constantly out there, like kind of like Cyclops without the laser like glasses. Like it's just like it's like oh maybe you should shut your eye. Like I don't know. Like and he's about to be taken out by Vertigo when all of a sudden darts fired from the outside, and that's where a mysterious woman manages to shoot him away, and he realizes like it's time for him to escape. And okay, Vertigo has a planocopter. He's got this biplane with a propeller sticking up towards the sky, as well as a propeller at the front. I'm like, okay, I'm not a physicist, but I don't think that's how propulsion works. Like, like I think this thing would just be spinning around like a top. Like,
Yeah, you just need the smaller one in the back, just sticking up and going the other way, and then
right?
you're set.
Like,
Like fuck, the second one's in the wrong spot.
yeah. And yeah, so he gets away with the taking the drill with him. And that's when we cut briefly back to Batman returning to the Batcave to talk to Alfred. By the way, the giant penny got bigger. Like it's at least like 2 to 3 times like
Yeah,
bigger
yeah,
than it
because
was.
he's in the up on a ladder when he's like polishing it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Bruce Wayne can afford a pressure washer. Why has he got Alfred polishing this thing with a rag?
Oh yeah, are you sure like do you think like Bruce is like puts a list and he's like, all right, you have to do this while I'm out fucking putting the fist at Joker, or is it? Or I think he's just out there. He's like, fuck, I have nothing else to do, so might as well do the monthly shine on on the penny.
He's got to clean the Two Face's thugs like little chunks of like brain matter that are still like etched
I
into
know
the
you said no.
coin.
You say yeah, I know you said wiping all the fucking bad shit off of it, man.
The guano. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just getting hot. He's just getting, I'm getting dizzy. Falls off the ladder.
Well, I imagine like they would. I think they'd be smart enough to like inoculate themselves against whatever fucking what shit that's in the bad shit or whatever that might get them sick. You would hopefully.
You think, right? Yeah, he just got like a paper bag of like the guano and he's got Alfred huffing it in the background. Hey, we've seen before Alfred is not above taking drugs. Tastes like detriment. So we have Batman saying, Vertigo had mentioned, what did he say about like the bell tolling or something was like kind of
Uh,
his clue is,
so something like that. Yeah, I'd forgot. I'd forgotten what he had said. Then
and I think he said that because the plane was headed in a certain direction.
but
I think it was headed.
they have to get back before the bell tolls. Maybe.
That's what it was. Yes. Yeah. And so he was either, I think he said that he was headed west.
Yeah, yeah. He said
And
he was heading west, and then
yeah.
and then Alfred said like like. And then this is why I forgot where he said if like hey you wouldn't know you left from your right hand or something like
Hmm.
that. Then he's like oh maybe that's why I can't find anything that matches that description going west because I was still kind of getting turned around from the vertigo stare I guess we'll call it and he's actually going east, and then he fucking cycles through like 3 or 4 different places that could have a bell, and then he just happens to be like, yeah, the one that looks like it's fucking like in the in the East German mountains.
Yeah. The one that looks like it's like owned by a German baron. Like
Yeah,
Red Skull, is that you? Like Yeah,
I was gonna say
so
that. Yeah, I was gonna say, or it's like one of Spectre's bases. Yeah.
yeah, it straight up looks like a Bond villain's lair. Like,
Oh, actually, yeah. Actually, it kind of reminds me of the one where I think where he's like in like Greece or Rome or something like that, where he's like
yeah.
where they actually have to like scale the side of the mountain to go up to like the guy's castle or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it was one of the Roger Moore ones, I think. One of the later Moore ones, I think it was.
That's striking a memory, yeah.
Yeah.
So he tracks them to this castle outside Gotham, and that's where he's looking through the forest through binoculars, and he sees the same woman that he had seen earlier, who is being tailed by some of the shadow thugs. So that's when he jumps in to save her. So she introduces herself as Talia. Now, we won't say too much about Talia at the moment, although if you guys are Batman fans listening to this, I'm sure you know who Talia is, but just humor us for a minute. Talia is voiced by Helen Slater, and Helen Slater is famously known as
Supergirl.
the
Dun,
OG
dun, dun,
Supergirl.
dun. Was like what 85 or 86, I think, when that came out.
Yeah, it
Oh,
sounds right
oh,
because
okay.
I think it was somewhere between Superman 2 and 3, something like that. But yeah, and she also played Lara, Jor-El's wife and Clark's mom on Krypton and Smallville, and she's appeared in a bunch of Superman projects, and she does the job very well. She's kind of got this Bond girl kind of vibe. She's dressed kind of like the Baroness from G.I. Joe, and her hair is always blocking one side of her face, like no matter
Yeah,
what
yeah,
way.
the emo hair,
Hmm. Yeah, she did have emo hair. That's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah, she's the original emo. And she's got daddy issues to prove it.
Just don't
Eh,
understand.
yeah. Oh my gosh, now I'm picturing Talia listening to Simple Plan.
I like so I like some like MCR.
Yeah. Do
You
you
ever heard
ever
like the
feel like
Black Parade?
breaking down? And so yeah, she's they're getting attacked by these two of these thugs like just football tackled her, which was funny. Like they just went like it's like wow, you guys just don't really know how to handle intruders, do you? And while they're having this brief fight scene, Batman's belt just randomly falls off. Like I don't know how it got out. It just kind of dropped. But when I watched this again, I'm like, wait, how did he lose his belt? And then I was like, oh, so that's how? Like it
No, I thought
literally just fell off.
no, I thought he got taken like when he got knocked out or whatever. So,
That's what I
I
thought, but there's a very
I
quick shot right before they get knocked out of it falling off.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And they're managed to overthrow the thugs, and Talia shows that she's actually got quite some skill when it comes to self-defense. And that's when they're about to head back into, like heading towards the castle, when two other agents show up on a rock, and I forget what they said, but they basically said like, you're not going to get away. They have the drill gun, and they use it to basically rock a giant hole underneath their feet, and they fall into a giant cave. And the first thing I'm thinking of is Bruce just going, "Not again."
So hey, so does he get like unafraid of bats this time?
Yeah. Wow, that just undid all my childhood
He's,
trauma. Oh,
he's like, oh, what do we do now? Like, oh, I
all I
guess
had to do
see you
was go
later.
spelunking. Like,
Yeah, see you later, Talia. I'm cured, I guess. So I'll see you later.
ah, I'm cured, and I realize how rich and fortunate I am in life. Wow.
I'm using my money all wrong. I'm gonna be the rich playboy now.
Yeah,
Just take up that aspect of this. Yeah.
everything's coming up, Bruce. Yeah, so
I
they
don't like that, just like with the whole like because they're obviously like shooting at an angle, and you would think the hole would go on an angle, but like once like there was like a commercial break, there, and like they wake up and the hole's just like they do a little pan and the hole's just like straight down.
Yeah,
So,
it kind of looks like the pit
so I
in The
thought that
Dark
was a
Knight Returns.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
and yeah, so we have that commercial break, and they wake up in a cell where Talia is treating Batman's wounds, and his mask is off, and
yeah.
he
Because at first, yeah, she's like, yeah, it looks like the blue cloth, yeah, and then you realize it's like, yeah, it was like she was washing his mask, yeah, then like gets like wets a cloth and goes to wipe his back, and then he's like coming to. How you can see he has a couple of welts on his face, and he's just like, "Oh no, my mask! That means I'm."
yeah, he's like,
Like,
and yeah, she's like, basically just says like, ah, don't worry about it. I'm just thinking she's going, it really wasn't that hard to figure out. Like, like
he's like,
you're not as good at this as you think you are.
I'm not from Gotham. I really don't really give a shit, actually, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. That's the other thing. When it comes to that's my favorite thing with Ted. Like the teddy bear movie is like, whether it's you're Paris Hilton or a talking teddy bear, sooner or later, nobody freaking cares. Like like Bruce Wayne is Batman. And then we move on with our lives. Like so yeah, they're realizing like, like they're stuck in the cell. And he says like, well, we got to get out of here. If only we had a lockpick. So she has a lockpick like stuck in her hair because it was just a thing. Like I think it was just kind of an easy way of doing things back then when it came to women just having like hairpins and lockpicks being the same thing, tomato tomato. And she manages to pick them out. And he's like, so what are you doing here anyway? Like, what are you after Vertigo for? And she says, he used to work for my father, but then he realized that, he was too evil even for him. So he sent me to go stop him. It's like, wow, you're like, your father kind of sounds like a wuss. Like,
And speaking of Dark Knight Rises, that kind of echoes that story a little bit with Bane.
yeah.
That he's like someone who's a little too weird and psycho for the League of Shadows / Assassins.
Hmm. I like that too. Yeah, I picked up on that and I was like, you know what? You gotta wonder how many of the Nolan writers watch BTOS, man. Because
Uh,
I have no
uh,
doubt that it influenced them at least a little bit.
oh yeah, this is like this is like one of the one of the best regarded like Batman series
Hmm.
as a whole, like live action or animated, really, right? So
And they called their organization the League of Shadows, so it's probably an influence to the organization name here.
yeah,
So they managed to take out a couple. They team up, managed to take out a couple of the thugs throughout the castle. I was expecting more thugs in this episode. How about you?
yeah, yeah, because they always think like of League of Shadows / Assassins, whatever. There's just like a shit ton of the friggin' regular peons just go and
Yeah.
beat people up and shit and take cover or whatever.
I don't think
So
that Vertigo had more than like 8 guys in this
yeah,
whole episode. Like,
yeah, like a couple handfuls at most, yeah. Like so something that, like Batman could take care of like handily.
yeah, like I do this at least like 4 times a week. Like, this is not hard, dude. Like, throw some
Uh,
animals my way. Like,
At least they put up a little bit of resistance, yeah.
right? Like yeah, they don't give up. Like, they literally sink their teeth in. Like, so yeah, they come to this laboratory door where they see the drill on the other side. And she's like, it's not locked. So, this is a trap. Madman's like, yeah, isn't it going to be great? And so they walk in, and I don't know why they're surprised when like the vertigo energy goes off. They're just like, oh no, like you just said it was going to be a trap. So, and yeah, Vertigo's like, yeah, that's right. I was expecting you. And
He's like, yeah,
so
he's like, you're right. It is a trap. So it's like, who could have known?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because uh, you know, the whole thing with Vertigo, like Vertigo, the thing itself, I'm kind of surprised that Batman, given his medical history, he hasn't had vertigo before because here's some of the things that can cause vertigo or make it worse. Three things that fall into Bruce Wayne's wheelhouse: caffeine, stress, and lack of sleep. That's Batman to a T. Like,
How have I not had vertigo yet?
you don't want it. Trust me, man.
Yeah, do you know how much fucking coffee I drink a day?
Oh, dude, I drink coffee because I got shift work, so I have to have it to some degree.
Yeah, and I watch fucking four to five channels like at once. So yeah, so I'm sitting there watching TV and fucking
Yeah,
not sleeping, man. Yeah, I had to drink all the fucking coffee too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you gotta have to. You have to get paid for your ADHD.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, I'm kind of surprised that he's never had this before, given like, kind of what he puts his brain and like body through. But I don't know. I was like, maybe that's where they got the idea of putting Vertigo in here. Like, he's a cool comic book villain, but I was like, yeah, this would be something Batman would get sooner or later anyway. Like that and hairline fractures. Like, so we have the quick commercial break, and then there's Vertigo one side of the laboratory, and he says, like, you've fallen into my trap, and now I'm going to blow this castle up, and I'm going to leave you to the suffering effects of the vertical machine. And I have the one machine on that wall and one machine on that wall. So you'll be trapped in here, but he neglects to tie them up or put them in any like confines whatsoever. So like they're literally just standing in the room, like trying not to fall down, but they're still standing in the room. Like he's he has no
Well, if
guards.
well, to his defense, one of them did one of the devices did handily take care of both of them before, so you think two of them would
Fair.
do well. So unless you have two of them and they cancel each other out, which it didn't, which the other hand it does double the effect. So of course you would be like, hey, of course, no, but of course it's also the villain thing to be like, hey, I'm going to leave you alone and not
Yeah.
tie you up and expect you not to escape.
Well,
But
especially when they're
we
gonna
think with
die anyway. Like
yeah, 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 that whole back and forth in Austin Powers with or like Doctor Evil and his son. He's like, wait, what? You just gonna leave him there? He's like, yeah. It's like start them to die, and just that's what happens. You just leave him there, and like what? That's what happens. He's like, I have a gun in my room. I can just go shoot him, bang bang. We'd be over. It's okay. He's like, no, that's not how this works. You
Scott,
just leave.
you just don't
Don't
get it,
get
do ya?
it. I've been
Oh,
meaning to
man.
watch those again to see if I actually if I think they hold up or not, but I haven't yet, but I
I'm
should.
surprised he never got a fourth one off the ground.
No, yeah, I think after their third round, I think that's yeah, he was yeah, I think Mike Myers was like sniffing his farts a little too much at that point because I think
Yeah, a little bit.
because I Love Guru didn't very much didn't do well, so I think so I think that may have derailed that. So I wouldn't be surprised if one does eventually uh sprout up at some point in the next couple of years.
It's gonna suck not having Mini Me though.
Yeah, yeah. So
Rest in peace.
yeah.
So, yeah, and then to Vertigo's defense, he did booby trap the room. I don't know where he found the time to do that, but I don't know. I think he's kind of at this point where he just kind of likes to play with his food a little bit. But oh, Talia mentions in this that part of the reason she's been able to avoid the effects, like she mentions this as like an kind of after note. Like I have contact lenses that, like keep me from being susceptible to the vertical events, but I must have lost them. So now I'm as helpless as you, Batman. It's like, wow, thanks for the support. Like Like, Damien, when I met your mother, she told me I completely sucked. Yeah, yeah, I can buy that. You kind of do. You're not exactly father material. I don't know what you're talking about, David. Damien, right. That's what I said. So yeah, Batman says, like, do you trust me? And she's like, I really don't have a choice, do I? So she takes his
He's like,
hand.
hey, he's like, you asked me to trust you earlier about,
That's what it was, yeah.
I forget what it was, but he's like, yeah, so now it's your turn or whatever. Yeah, so he just gets her to follow him, and yeah, he just there's like the trapdoor thing, and he's like jump, and then there's the think the scythe going by. He says, "Jump out of the
Mhm.
way," and then there what was the third? There's like the spiky things in the ground. I think it was the
Yeah,
third thing.
swords shoot out of the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, so he's able to guide her all through, and then then he just kind of reaches for like the wall and turns, and then this turns out to be a door, and he gets out. And he's like, "Oh, how'd you do that?" And he's like, at first I thought he was gonna say he's like, before everything went to hell, I was like, I'm Batman, so I just memorized the room and was able to go that way or something. But he's like, no, I just closed my eyes.
And she's
I
like,
can't
you
sit up
did
there.
what? Like, did you die though? Like, you're welcome. So, yeah, so they go after Vertigo, and like Vertigo is making his way to the top of the bell tower of the castle. And that's where his planocopter is going to meet. Okay, so the plane thing has a skull and crossbones at the top of the thing, which you'd think, of course, pirate, but given the imagery of the his German officer attire, it looks more like a Totenkopf. Like, I'm like, you're not helping the he's not a Nazi case here. Like, are we the baddies? Like, what's worse than a skull? A rat's anus? Like, so yeah, they're running up the bell tower to go catch him. And I thought this was really cool because I mean the first thing that goes to my mind with this whole kind of final showdown is Batman running up to catch the Joker in the 89 movie. But also what it's similar to is the movie Vertigo with
Yeah,
Jimmy Stewart.
or actually, or what I was thinking too was Spider-Man 3 with
Oh yeah.
when he was yeah, because I was wondering I thought I forgot something that said like Sam Raimi must have watched this episode because they is ringing the bell uh, to save the day. So I was like, oh, that's re- reminded me of the climax of
I can see that happening.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, even like that, I think was also taken from the animated series,
Yeah,
like the Spider-Man animated series, and I think that came out shortly after this. So there you go. Like
yeah,
it all
yeah,
comes
yeah,
back to BTOS, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Because I think sorry, because that Spider-Man was like 94, I think. Yeah, so it was a couple
yeah.
years later. Yeah, so
See, this is what you guys have. This is why we love rewatching this show because it influenced so many other projects. Like, and it's just gonna continue to. And so, yeah, they're running up the stairs to go chase him, and Vertigo's like, "You again? This is impossible." And Batman's like, "Nothing is impossible." He's like, "Oh yeah? Well, let me try this on for size." And he shoots the like sonic cannon at them, and like destroys part of the staircase. Talia's like, "I can't take much more of it." She jumps off the staircase, man. At first, I'm like, "Did she just try and kill herself?" Like, but she's grabbing the rope and making the bell ring. And Batman's like, oh, that's a great idea. So he does the same thing. The bells start ringing, and
yeah.
like I remind you guys, Vertigo is right next to the
Oh,
bells.
yeah. He's just like, oh.
Yeah, he's grabbing his head. He's like, nine, nine.
Yeah, not unlike Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 3 or whatever movie was referenced that I've forgotten.
So he just this thing is like like making him lose his balance, ironic. And he falls right out of the side of the tower. But just like Twitch in the beginning of this episode, he happens to fall into a river. We don't see him swimming at the end, so like presumably the thing killed him, but of course we're not going to show that. But yeah, we take care of Vertigo, and I love the plane copter just kind of goes like, "Well, bye," and just flies away.
See you.
Yeah, like, well, the boss is gone. Let's just get out of here. Like going home to work early. So they have then Batman talking to Talia, and he's like, "Thanks for your help. You know, like I couldn't have done this without you. I'll get the drill back to Wayne Tech now." She's like, "Oh, no, you're not gonna do that." And that's she pulls a gun on him, and he's like, "I should have known. You knew the whole like layout of the monastery. You understood everything Vertigo was up to. How could you know that if you weren't one of the shadows yourself?" He's like, very clever, Batman, or whatever. She had a little bit of an accent too. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing with like Talia. She's kind of got like an amalgamation of a bunch of like European
Yeah, it's like
accents.
yeah, or it's like yeah, vague Eastern European or just
Yeah,
European accent, yeah, instead of like, overtly German.
yeah. We don't do stereotypes here. That's what Vertigo's for.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's like, hand the drill over. And he's like, I couldn't believe it. Like you broke my heart. It's like, like, yeah, we could have been a great team. What you don't, what we don't, what she doesn't pay attention to is Batman putting a small device inside the drill as it's being handed over to her.
I
And
didn't catch that either. I was wondering. I thought he just did it at some point. Like,
yeah, and that is something. That's the thing is like sometimes I feel like you kind of don't need to do that. Like I know sometimes you gotta kind of like spell it out to the audience, but like it's Batman. Like he would do something like that anyway. Like it's consistent
yeah,
with his character.
yeah.
So she gets into the planocopter and flies away, and Batman just shouts, "This isn't over." So then we have a scene of Talia flying over the mountains, and she's video teleconferencing her father. Adam, who is Talia's father?
It's good old Ra's al Ghul or Raish if you're nasty.
I was gonna ask you, are you team Rage or you team Raz?
I was Ra's al Ghul.
Same.
Raz, yeah.
We are a
I,
Ra's al Ghul household. That's for you on the
uh,
doc on the Discord, people. We are
yeah, yeah, I don't do race, but which I guess is like the guess correct way. I think is race is I
well,
think
that's the
or
interesting thing. I have some friends who speak Arabic, and I confirmed with several of them that because Ra's al Ghul translates to the demon's head or the head of the ghoul. So Raz is Arabic for head, like, and it's pronounced Raz. There's other translations of like similar languages that aren't Arabic that do say Raish, but because I've always looked at Ra's al Ghul as kind of a mixture of a Bond villain and also the old man of the mountain who is the head of like the real like order of assassins from history. Like if you guys have played the Assassin's Creed's game, like yeah, like obviously there's a lot of fiction to that, but it's based on a real organization like way back in time. And that's in my mind who like Ra's al Ghul is kind of based on. So that's where I'm like, like it as long as it kind of ties into that kind of cultural atmosphere, then it works with his character. But yeah, I've always also thought that Raz sounds better. Like
yeah.
Raz Al Ghul.
But yeah, so they're discussing that she got the plan worked and she got the drill and he said yeah good thing you should probably test it. So he's like looks like she looks out the window looks out the gyrocopter the plane copter and it's about to shoot at like the top of a mountain, but the drill like back like malfunctions, and she's like curses Batman for uh for sabotaging it. She's like must have
This is somehow
sabotaged it
sexy,
somehow.
Batman. This is gonna make me want to make out with you even more the next time. The only
Maybe
person
this
who's gonna
time
want to make out with him more is Roz himself.
I
I'm not unconvinced that Ra's al Ghul isn't at least a little bit attracted to Bruce Wayne. Like that is my headcanon, and it will stay that way.
And which version of Ra's al Ghul was friggin' the doctor from BS9?
Gotham.
Oh, was it Gotham? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I would
That's not
say
that's still not going to get me to friggin' finish watching that show. Fuck.
I will say this much. He is the only actor who, like, obviously of Arabic origin, but the only actor who's played Ra's al Ghul in live action who has nailed the like horn-shaped hair
Oh,
in like
nice.
translation. I'm like, okay, props to the costume department alone for doing that because that's hard. And one also thing we should make note of, Ra's al Ghul is voiced in this by one David Warner. So you guys might know him from playing the bad guy in Tron and also the henchman from Titanic.
I haven't I still haven't watched Titanic, but that's more on purpose than anything.
I'm sorry, you
I've
haven't
I've
watched
I,
Titanic?
yeah, I've purposely avoided that movie because fuck that movie. Because well, we know what
You
happens
are
at the end of the movie,
absolutely
so.
keeping the dead silence of shock in this editing, right? Like, like, I have no words. Like, I remind you, I know your girlfriend. I have her on Facebook. I can get her to make you watch Titanic.
She's not gonna watch that shit either, man. What are you talking about?
Well, I tried.
Forget I met her at Comic-Con, remember? So she's on my side.
What does it have to? How many people have Comic Con have watched Titanic? It's the
My
guy
side either
who
way.
the guy who made Terminator. Oh my gosh. Oh, like that. We kind of slammed on the brakes there.
Fucking
Okay.
Titanic.
Yeah, we're having a conversation off mic. Uh
I haven't seen the Leo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet either.
well, that you can skip, but I will get you to watch Titanic.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you
I'm
won't.
very persistent.
Yeah, and nothing's gonna get me to watch that movie.
Famous last words.
And if you
Anyway.
try pull, if you try pulling the Reed like Richard on me to do that episode, I won't be like Reed. I will walk out of the room.
Yeah. No, you'll just find another you'll find another co-host.
Yeah. Remember who knows how to post these episodes.
That's true. Well, on that note, we have Ra's al Ghul disappointed that the weapon was destroyed, just promptly hanging up on his daughter. And
And
he's
then he walks away. He's like, "Yeah, you're right, Batman. This isn't over."
mhm.
And the episode fades off. So for our first interaction, Ra's al Ghul, and yeah, because I think he shows up. He's on like multiple episodes. I think it's like 3 to 4 episodes. I think I want to say.
Yeah, only really like a handful, but every
Yeah, but
time that
like
he shows up, it's supposed to be like
yeah,
a big deal.
but yeah, he definitely has a couple. Yeah, because yeah, he definitely has like a one specifically with him, and then there's the fucking Josh Brolin did a live action with what's her
Oh,
face?
Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex, the Jonah Hex episode. They feel like, yeah, somehow fucking get work Jonah Hex into fucking Batman the animated series.
Yeah, we put a Confederate soldier as our hero, and we didn't think this would age at all.
Well, no, no, I think even at that, I think he like realizes that he was like on the wrong side and just kind of goes against everybody that even then
Yeah,
is which so I guess which is kind of absolve him in some way. That makes it okay at least.
yeah,
Like yeah, we can let that slide.
yeah. But yeah, that was off balance.
So would you give this out of five crazy eye pieces? There we go.
I am gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I think visually this is really cool, and I like the introduction of Talia, and even if it's a very brief appearance of Ra's al Ghul. Um, that being said, I feel like there wasn't too much to the story, and I felt like it was a little kind of kind of stitched together, a bit of a kind of climax there. But no, I mean it's got some interesting scenes to it. How about you?
I think I'll give it a 3 out of 5 as well. It was a nice, like, kind of villain of the week episode, and it was it was a good way to bring in, like their version of the League of Assassins and Raz and Talia sort of thing. And it's message you before this. So I was wondering, do you think in this version, like a version of Damien could show up there eventually, like have a brief like lapse in judgment of the two of them and do it that way instead of the the way that Damien came about in the books. Because I
Yeah,
don't think
which
because I don't think that for I don't think that they'll allow that version to
that
happen
don't fly, man.
in a child's cartoon. So if people don't know how that is, yeah, just look up how Damian Wayne became to be.
Why didn't she just clone him? Like that's what I don't get. Is like Ra's al Ghul would know how to figure out cloning. Like,
And surprisingly enough, it wasn't a Frank Miller book.
yeah, that probably would be something he'd do. No, Miller would have that happen, and then he'd have Batman with like a gross smile on his face, like he's proud of himself. It's like, no, like, oh,
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, I think I'll give it a 3 out of 5 as well. Yeah. All right, and that is the episode for this week, folks. Thanks for joining us at the Batcave to talk about Batman and the animated series. Next week's episode will be The Man Who Killed Batman. And yeah, I think I remember that what this is. It's just like yeah, like a story going in like the underworld to like some like random dude like happened to find off Batman, but I don't remember the specifics, but I think like once I started watching, I'll probably remember more. But I think I have seen this one before. Yeah. Well, you can follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast or on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast, and we're on our YouTube at youtube.com/ at Beyond the Backcast. Check us out there, rate, review, subscribe there, or wherever you find your podcasts will help us out. And where can we find you on the internet, Bridon?
you can find me on Instagram at Alfred is Zaddy. And you
Who's
can
that?
also find our Discord link on our Instagram page, Beyond the Backcast. And we'd love to have you guys on to talk about all things Batman related. And yeah, we love hearing from you guys what kind of stuff you want to talk about that's related to the show. And yeah, we also throw some of our fun memes on there just to kind of give you guys a little treat, just to keep you guys laughing in this crazy, crazy world.
Yeah, and I'm slowly making my finally got my subscription to Crave finally up in Canada here, so I'm slowly making my way through Penguin, so you might be able to find out what I think of it before I probably talk about it on air. So yeah, so I said like check us out on there, and thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman the animated series Beyond the Backcast. Goodbye, good chums. Kapow.